Snow Cone Mini One Shot. I am now very close to getting 200k views, so let's go ahead and vote for the special part 2. 2 chapters were often asked for, and these 2 are the only ones that will win, so they're the only choices. Sending Pics or Traitor. I'm betting Sending Pics wins the second part. Good luck, and voting ends once I hit 200k views. Ochako cried to herself as she pressed the 3rd floor button on the elevator. Her boyfriend Izuku had gotten injured out on duty and was taken to a nearby hospital. Sure, he has been hurt and needed medical attention before, but this was different. The news reported that there was several fatalities, and other than that she knew almost nothing, aside from that he was alive. But she was worried because she didn't know what kind of damage had been done. She took a seat out in the waiting room and waited patiently as her tears ruined her makeup. Just barely an hour passed before a nurse came out to her. "He is able to be seen now," the nurse said, getting Ochako's attention. "How is he?" she asked, following the nurse. "He's not in anything serious. He was just barely hurt enough to even come to the hospital. He can be discharged not long from now," the nurse explained, leading Ochako to the room. When she got there, Izuku was lying on the bed in patient's clothes. "Hey Ochako," Izuku greeted her. She sat down next to him as the nurse left the 2 alone together. Ochako got up from her chair and gave him a hug, and bit of her tears fell onto him. He of course hugged back, feeling only a tiny bit of pain in doing. Ochako sat back down in her chair after a long and nice hug that let her know that he was really alright now. "How are you feeling?" Ochako asked after sitting down. "I feel just fine. It was pretty scary what went down though," Izuku said, lying back down. The news didn't give too much details. "What exactly happened?" Ochako asked. "Well, at first it seemed like a low-life villain had a couple of hostages and I was the closest, so I made my way there. Turns out he wasn't just some lowlife after all, he had a explosion quirk. Luckily it took a bit for it to charge and I got the hostages out and I got cleared as well. I didn't get far away enough to not get hit, but it was enough knowing I saved them," Izuku explained to his girlfriend. "If he thinks he got everyone out, I better not tell him about the casualties," Ochako thought, not wanting to get him upset. "I've seen you crying since you walked in. Is everything good?" Izuku asked her, and she wiped her tears away. "I'm just glad you're safe, Deku. I thought for just a moment that I had possibly lost you. That's the last thing I want, and I really don't want you to be injured," she explained to him. "Are you mad at me?" He asked. Ochako looked at him, blinking a few times before she spoke. "No, how can I be? You were doing what you were born to do, being a hero. You got hurt and I knew that was a possibility. You knew it, everyone knew it, it's just part of a being hero, and I've seen you injured back at you. A lot of times as well," Ochako said, playing with her thumbs. "Oh well, that's a but I don't like it, in fact I hate it. I don't want you to get hurt, Deku. But I don't want you to stop being a hero and stop being what you want to be. How would you feel if our positions were switched?" Ochako asked him. "I'd probably be a mess on the floor, crying and thanking the heavens that you're alive. Although I know you are a hero and we are all taking risks," he said, answering her question. She gave a nod. "It sucks. It's part of being a hero and we knew it too. But I am also proud of you. You did good. She leaned over to him, placing a small peck to his left cheek, leaving him flustered on his bed. Thank you, he blushed a bit. Anything, Deku, she smiled at him. The door to the room opened up a few minutes later and the nurse came back. You are able to go home now, sir, the nurse said to Izuku. Ochako helped Izuku out of the hospital, making sure he was alright, and she drove him home. Deku, can you promise me something? Ochako asked as she drove. What is it? He asked, turning to her. No matter what happens, just, please do everything you can to come home to me. Please, Ochako said. Of course, he agreed as they drove home.